What if I told you that the oldest mathematical tool ever discovered wasn't found in Greece, or Rome, or ancient China? What if I told you it was found in Central Africa, and it's over 20,000 years old? Meet the Ishango bone, a small piece of baboon bone that's rewriting everything we thought we knew about ancient mathematics and African civilization. This isn't just a bone with scratches on it. This is evidence that ancient Africans were doing complex mathematics thousands of years before the pyramids were built. Let's dive in. Our story begins in 1960, in what is now the Democratic Republic of Congo. Near the shores of Lake Edward, Belgian geologist Jean de Heinzel in Brockort was excavating an ancient fishing settlement when he stumbled upon something extraordinary. Among the artifacts, harpoon points, tools, and other remains of daily life, he found a small bone about 10 centimeters long. It was the fibula of a baboon, and carved into it were rows of notches arranged in very specific patterns. At first glance, it might have looked like decorative markings or simple tally marks. But de Heinzel noticed something unusual. The notches weren't random. They were organized into distinct groups, ranged in 3 columns along the bone. And when he started analyzing the numbers, his mind was blown. This wasn't just counting. This was mathematics. Advanced mathematics? From 20,000 years ago. In Africa. Let me break down what makes this bone so incredible. The Ishango bone has 3 columns of notches, and each column tells a different mathematical story. The first column contains the numbers 11, 13, 17, and 19. Now, if you know anything about math, alarm bells should be going off in your head right now. Those are all prime numbers. Prime numbers, numbers that can only be divided by themselves and 1. The ancient creator of this bone wasn't just counting. They were selecting specific prime numbers between 10 and 20. Think about that for a second. Someone 20,000 years ago understood the concept of prime numbers. That's not basic counting, that's number theory. The second column is equally fascinating. It shows 11, 21, 19, and 9. Some researchers believe this demonstrates an understanding of addition and subtraction, because 11 plus 9 equals 20, and 21 minus 1 equals 20. Others see it as evidence of a base 10 counting system, the same decimal system we use today. The third column shows what appears to be doubling: 3, 6, 4, 8, 10, 5. Look at that pattern. Minus 3 doubled is 6, 4 doubled is 8. 5 doubled is 10. This suggests an understanding of multiplication, or at least the concept of doubling numbers. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Some researchers, including mathematician Claudia Zaslavsky, have suggested that the Ishango bone might have been used as a lunar calendar. The total number of notches on the bone is 168. Which is very close to the number of days in 6 lunar months. Now you might be thinking, okay, cool bone, but why does this matter? Here's why this is absolutely revolutionary. For decades, the dominant narrative in Western education has been that advanced mathematics began in ancient Greece around 2,500 years ago with people like Pythagoras and Euclid. Mesopotamia and Egypt get some credit for earlier math, dating back maybe 5,000 years. But the Ishango bone pushes mathematical thinking back 20,000 years and places it firmly in Africa. This completely changes our understanding of human cognitive development and the origins of mathematical thought. It tells us that abstract thinking, pattern recognition, and mathematical reasoning weren't recent developments or exclusive to certain civilizations. These capabilities existed in ancient Africa long before recorded history. The Ishango bone also challenges racist narratives that portrayed Africa as a continent without scientific or mathematical additions. This single artifact proves that mathematical thinking has deep African roots, deeper than anywhere else on Earth. To put this in perspective, when the Ishango Bone was created, the last ice age was still happening. Woolly mammoths walked the Earth. Humans hadn't even developed agriculture yet. And yet, someone in Central Africa was thinking mathematically, recognizing patterns, understanding prime numbers. Now, I should mention that not all scholars agree on every interpretation of the Ishango Bone. Some argue that the notches might be simpler tally marks or decorative patterns, not evidence of advanced mathematics. Others suggest we might be projecting modern mathematical concepts onto ancient markings. But here's the thing, even the most conservative interpretations acknowledge that this represents intentional, systematic notation. Whether it's prime numbers or a lunar calendar or a counting system, it's still evidence of abstract thinking and mathematical reasoning from 20,000 years ago. The debate itself is healthy and shows that scholars are taking this artifact seriously, analyzing it from multiple angles. What's not debatable is that this bone is ancient, African, and mathematically significant. Today, the Ishango Bone sits in the Royal Belgian Institute of Natural Sciences in Brussels. It's a small artifact, easily overlooked, but its implications are massive. It reminds us that human genius has no geographical boundaries and no timeline. Mathematical thinking didn't suddenly appear in one place and spread outward. It emerged independently in different parts of the world, and the evidence suggests it emerged first in Africa. The Ishango Bone is more than just an ancient calculator. It's a challenge to our assumptions about history, about Africa, and about the origins of human knowledge. It's proof that 20,000 years ago, on the shores of an African lake, someone looked at numbers and saw patterns, saw relationships, saw beauty in mathematics. And that's pretty incredible. If this story fascinated you, hit that like button and subscribe for more untold history. Drop a comment. What other ancient African innovations do you want to learn about? Thanks for watching, and remember, history is always deeper than we think.